Hello, everyone. Come on in. Hop on over from Michelle's channel back to us for another amazing live Q&A with our fabulous designer, Michelle from Two Brothers Blankets. She's here with us. Hello, Michelle. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for
So,
having me.
we've just watched the amazing presentation on crocheting your own clothes and making them feel and fit like store-bought, because that's the ultimate goal in garments, isn't it? That they fit well, they look great, and that's exactly what Michelle was talking about, and she shared all her tips and tricks on how to achieve that. So we're gonna get into that in just a second, but come on over, everyone, say hello to us in the comments so we know that you made it back over to us. And here we are.
Julia made it. She's here. Hi,
Julia
Julia.
Mady, she's here. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings when they all go on to a little voyage to different places, isn't it?
Yeah, people are coming on in. Awesome. Joanne's here. She loves
Yeah,
it.
lovely comments from everyone.
Yes.
And quite rightly, it was an amazing presentation about garments and how to make them look and feel store-bought. So I keep getting that wrong. But yeah, put forward your questions, whatever you want to ask Michelle. Make use of the time, pick Michelle's brain for whatever tips and tricks or all your burning questions. Put them forward. We'll be happy to chat about anything and everything related to Michelle's lovely presentation.
Lots of people saying hello, and a question already. Here we go.
There we go.
This person has asked, do you recommend making a larger gauge swatch than 10 by 10 centimeters in order to see how it makes it through the wash?
Yes, I would say yes. I usually do a little bit bigger, 5 to 6 inches long and wide and high, and that way I can measure different parts of the swatch just to be sure, because I know a lot of times like the bottom, that first chain row or whatever, can be a little bit smaller, and it kind of, so yeah, definitely a little bit bigger. It's not always the case, especially for like lacy swatches. Sometimes you can just measure, your 4 inches and 4 inches blocked out, and it'll be your square. But for the most part, I usually do a little bit bigger than 4 inches for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I find like because the sides as well will sometimes curl, depending on the stitch, right? There will sometimes so unless you actually block it and see how it behaves anyway, you're not going to know, are you? But I think it's just really important to measure that middle section.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, right in the middle. And then even sometimes, I do check like towards the edge, and then in the middle, then the other edge, and then different sections of, like, I don't necessarily always start at the very first row for my height. I usually stick it like somewhere in the middle for your rows and stuff like that, because that's your stitch. So instead of your foundation. So, yep.
Yeah, because you seem to kind of concentrate a bit more on the first few stitches. At least me, when I work into the starting cane, I'm just like, I hate working into starting cane, and those are my angry stitches.
Yes,
so those are not my normal relaxed stitches. So that's why I kind of, you have to measure the middle. By the time you get used to the stitches, if it's a new stitch pattern as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say
used to the stitches, and probably your middle is your best.
Yeah, and your tension's going to change. It's going to change in the project too. Sometimes I'll do my gauge swatch and I'll be like, but it works, and then in the project you're like, no. So yep.
Keep on track. Oh, we have a question for us newbies. Are there any recommendations on practice yarn that's affordable in lightweights? I'd rather not mess up a garment in an expensive yarn. Such a valid question. Oh gosh.
I love anything from Crochet. We crochet. Crochet.com.
Yeah, they've changed now, haven't they? They're
their website, is crochet.com, but their title is We Crochet. Yeah. So they have fingering. They have a cotton acrylic blend called Comfy Fingering, and I think it's like $6.
This is comfy. Yeah, this is comfy.
You don't have to buy the hand dyed $20-$30 a hank yarn. There's definitely some options. I love those options. Crochet.com is like my go-to for affordable yarns in all the different weights. A lot of times you'll go to websites and they won't have like a sport weight or just one or two options for the lighter weights. So I really like that as far as that goes. They're affordable, and they're cotton acrylic. So with the cotton acrylic, for me, the Comfy, I love it because it doesn't like grow and stretch and all that. Like it pretty much keeps its shape. You can wash it, you can dry it in the machine, and it keeps its shape. So I would definitely recommend something like that for starting out, getting used to it, not wanting to spend a lot of money at the beginning when you're learning.
Yeah, because this is something I didn't realize. That I came over to the US last year and went to a yarn store, and like DK and sport weight and fingering weight like just didn't exist. So I was like, where is it all? Where is all the stuff that I'm going to make garments with? Like everything was worsted and bigger, and I was just completely blown away by the lack of choice in fine yarns.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
I agree. I mean, I've looked because I'm always looking for subs. Like for I use a lot of We Crochet, and I'm always looking for subs, but sometimes there's just not a lot of like in other brands or whatever in sport weight and lightweight, unless you're wanting to go luxury and spend a lot. And so that's why I love them.
I take the other company that Hobie yarns, they make it well. They have a loads of choice. Definitely, and affordable too. So Or another yarn related question then, Catherine, you mentioned in the presentation you like blends for your choices. Why and which blends are the best?
I personally love anything cotton blend. Anything. Cotton acrylic is really nice. It's easy to wash. It's easy to dry and take care of. So it's great for like gifting. If you're gifting somebody a shawl or a cardigan or something, they can wash it in the machine and it's not a big deal. I also like cotton bamboo. This is cotton bamboo. This is from Hobie, this yarn. This is rainbow bamboo. It's like a sport weight. It just feels really nice. I live in Florida, so it is warm here. And so they don't have that yarny, thick feel that, acrylic, just 100% acrylic does. They're not super warm like wool, but they have like an airy feel to them. So I really like, and they hold up. They're really strong and not so stretchy, and usually hold up really well in like the wash and stuff.
Yeah, what I find with the cotton acrylic is like the acrylic kind of softens the cotton a little bit for me, because I hate working with cotton. It's just too sticky, too stiff for me. But that little bit of acrylic into it, it really like softens in and makes it nice and smooth to work with. So that's definitely, and you get the best of both worlds, don't you, from the cotton and from the acrylic.
And it's very comfortable to wear. It's not itchy. It's not super warm. It's very comfortable, and it has a lot of times they have like a really nice drape to them, the blends. So I really like blends.
Brilliant.
Oh, good question here. Saying any recommendations if you're making a sweater as a gift and don't have the person nearby, so you cannot check as you are crocheting the sizing.
So that one is really hard. My recommendation is if you can get a sweater or a shirt that they own and take some measurements of it, and or somehow make an excuse to measure them.
I love that. Just like arm for me.
This, because that's going to get you the most customized fit.
Yeah.
Our patterns are giving you a standard fit that we are given. We're given all these measurements, and these are supposed to be like the average, I guess, sizes and lengths and whatever. So most likely it will fit if you know like what size they wear, how tall they are, whatever. But to get a really good customizable fit, you're going to want to take some kind of measurements and get those measurements either by something they wear or somehow get their measurements.
You need to play a fun game like, hey, let's see whose arm is longer, mine or yours. Hey, let's see who's got bigger bust, me or you.
I love it. Dinner party game.
Yep, especially if they don't know about it. Because my poor husband, when I crochet his designs for men, he's every other day, come try this on. Come try this on. So
I recently did a men's one, and my husband, but he's like really tall and he's really broad and he's got really long arms, and I'm like, it takes forever. Can you just not be smaller, please?
Right? Oh, I do the same thing. I say that my husband is the skinniest little guy, but he has the broadest shoulders. Like,
really?
So much bigger than the rest of them. He's a total like triangle. And so I'm like, can you just not? So it does take some customization. And I think I talked last year about men's patterns and how you have to adjust for those broad shoulders and stuff. So it's hard to crochet for someone that doesn't know about it, and that you can't just can you try this on?
Yeah, you just kind of have to rely on those standard sizes for their age bracket, or kids or men or women. So I unfortunately in that case it might just have to be the case of relying on the store clothes measurements, perhaps.
I always recommend going or sizing up.
Yes.
Too. You think they're a small, like maybe make them a medium. That way, especially with kids, always size up. I always say because they grow so fast. But even with adults, to me, it's better to be too big than too small. I would much rather it fit too big than too small, and taking a chance. But I mean, unless you really know that they are whatever size,
it's hard otherwise, isn't it? Yeah. Jessica is saying, Michelle, one day my garments will fit perfectly. Well, I love that. I love that optimism. I've watched and listened to many gauge videos multiple times and do not usually get it right. Does washing the gauge make much of a difference?
It can. It depends on the yarn. It depends on what yarn you're using, and you'll learn. You'll find your favorite yarns that you like to use, like your go-to fingering weight for garments, or your go-to whatever, and you'll use those. But I do recommend always checking the gauge, even if you use that yarn 100 times. I just this week was reworking a blanket. This is a blanket, so it doesn't even matter that much. Of mine, an old pattern of mine, it calls for a J hook. I had to go down to an F hook, 3.75 millimeter, to meet gauge for my own pattern. Your tension changes all the time. So you get better, you get looser, I don't know. But definitely check gauge every time. And yes, the yarn and washing it is a big deal. Like, it can make a huge difference. As you're working it, check your gauge within your pattern, like within your garment, to make sure, so you can meet gauge in your swatch and be fine. And okay, this is the hook I'm using. And then it's like coming out way too big in your garment. It's because your tension is loosened up. If you're doing a repetitive stitch, like it's just, that's what we do. And so check your gauge, measure periodically. Like I talked about in the video, milestones, measure it periodically. And if you see that you had 14 stitches in 4 inches and now you have 12 stitches in 4 inches, you're going to tighten up your tension a little bit. And so that's why it's important to check throughout the project, not just at the beginning, and measure and all that as you're working.
Yeah. And as I learned the hard way, make sure that you consistently use the same brand of hook and the same hook.
Yes, that makes
sense. Because I had the projects and I took it away with me, and I took a different set of hooks and I used a different set of hook in the exact same size, and it was completely different. Like, it looked completely different, and it was just obviously a tiny bit different size hook, but it made a huge difference. And the thing is, like with blankets and with whatever, like that doesn't really matter, does it? But a garment, it really does. So like, once you've got the hook you're using for that garment, keep it with you.
Yeah.
With the project. Keep it with the project, definitely. Definitely. Oh, we've got a recommendation here for if you're in the EU, Drops yarns. Yeah, I've used Drops yarns. Not recently, but Drops yarns are really nice. Also very affordable. I think there are quite a lot of Etsy sellers actually that sell Drops yarn worldwide. So I've seen more and more yarn shops opening on Etsy. So like independent people. So that's quite interesting. People saying it's pretty much 4+ is all you get in the craft stores. Definitely.
I think they aim it more on the blanket makers, don't they, with the worsted weight? That's a very popular yarn weight. So that's probably why there is such a wide range in the shops.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we've got a vote here from Parry for the bamboo. It almost feels like butter, really smooth and light. Yeah, this is making me want to use bamboo more. I haven't used bamboo for years. I love it.
I love the movement of the fabric. It's just so drapey and so really lovely.
Yeah, Kim's asking, can you steam block acrylics or only natural fibers? My cardigan fluffs a lot, so it doesn't look nice.
I steam block acrylics. I will just run my steamer over it quickly. You don't want to do it too long or get it too close. But I will steam block my acrylics. It just kind of like gives it a little like relaxes the stitch a little bit.
I was gonna say because sometimes what I find if you don't want to steam, I sometimes just use a spray bottle rather than submerging the whole garment in loads of water, because then you have to go through the process of getting the extra water out of your garment, and that's just a whole lot of palaver to me. So what I do, I pin it dry and just spray it with this, just a slightly kind of, so it's damp rather than kind of soaking wet. So that's what I do with acrylics. But I do get the fluffy bits, because the more you disturb the yarn, the fluffier it can get depending on the fiber. But definitely, yeah, steam block acrylic very gently, or I use the spray bottle just to kind of make it slightly damp rather than soaking wet.
Yeah. Definitely don't do it with your iron. I had a tester once who, like, she finished the garment and she was like getting it ready to send pictures to me, and she melted the neckline, the whole of the neckline.
Oh no!
So upset, and she was really upset because she was like, "I've let you down." And I was like, "No, you haven't. It's fine. Like, the world hasn't come to an end." But I understand your pain right now. I get it.
Did you start with the neckline, or was the neckline after?
It was added after, but she kind of melted it to the stitch. It was like a fold over collar, and it melted it to the top. So there was like no going back. There was nothing could be done.
Oh no!
So upset. So don't use your iron. Do not. I have been tempted though before. I'm like, oh, I could just puff the steam on it. It'd be fine. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Michelle, you need to read this question, because I think if I read it, I'll sound like not as good as you will.
What is y'all's favorite yarn for garments to work with? That's how I talk too.
I was like, you need to read that.
Yes. That's from the South. I like the comfy for sure. And the thing about comfy is it comes in fingering, sport, and worsted.
Yes.
So I have patterns with all of them, and I love them. So, and I have patterns in acrylic that I want to convert to the cotton blend. And so that's my favorite. That's like my go-to. The only thing I wish they had, Caitlin, if you're watching, is like a colored, I don't know, gradient, something, you know, in those, but just some kind of self-striping, I don't know, something just a little more colored, I don't know, but that's the only thing. They're all solids, but that's okay. We can get creative. But that's personally probably my favorite. I also use a lot of Kabu Lion Brand. That's a bamboo acrylic. That's DK. So if I need a thicker yarn, I love that one. Yeah. And then if I'm using worsted, which I do have a few patterns, garment patterns in worsted, I love Brava.
Yeah.
Those are or Heartland.
Really affordable,
Use Heartland as well.
Nice, soft, really soft worsted acrylics. Those are nice, but
lovely.
Yeah. I think for me, it depends on who. It's going to sound awful, but who it's for. Like, if I'm making it for my kids, who are going to make it mucky and awful and like, I'm going to use a practical yarn. I'm not going to use a fancy yarn that first of all costs a lot of money, and then second of all won't wash as well or be as durable.
It needs to be everything proof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with my kids, definitely. Like, but if it's for me, then something that's going to give me a load of drape. That's the thing. Soft and gentle and lots of drape.
Yeah, I always try to go for fingering weight, kind of thinner yarns, whether it's a winter or summer garment, because I just feel that you get the best out. And I sometimes the thicker yarn, yes, it's warmer, but I feel really bulky in it, because they didn't scrape and save on the bust area for me. So, I sometimes the thicker the garment, I just feel like I'm the size of a house sometimes. So
maybe I need to start using it then, because I need help there. So, like maybe I should.
I shall pack it and send you some.
Received.
So definitely the thinner the better for me. And I do love actually using sock yarn for garments as well, because just that 10% of nylon makes it really durable. Whether you wash it, dry it, block it, wear it, stretch it, whatever you do with it, it's really, really wearable. And I don't personally feel that it's kind of scratchy or anything. So some sock yarns are scratchy, I do give you that. But just that 10% of the nylon does make such a huge difference in the durability of the garment. So that's my choice.
I love a good super wash.
Yeah.
Like, wool with nylon. those are awesome because you can wash them and they'll grow. And you're like, oh my gosh. You can put them in the dryer for like 20 minutes at a time on low, and they will it will shrink back to whatever size you want it. Like if you just, as long as you pay attention and don't let it shrink up too much.
Definitely. Oh, we're frozen. So next question up. Are you frozen as well, Veronika? I don't know.
No, I'm okay.
You're all right. I was like, is it me that's frozen?
I'm still here.
Bless you. Oh, hopefully Michelle will come back in a second. But next question up is, do you need to block all garments? So I block all of my garments. It is entirely up to you. You will have a better garment. You will have a better finished product if you do block it. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah, go for it. Just like I said, do it with the spray bottle if you don't want to submerge it. There she is.
Sorry.
I couldn't work out if it was me that had frozen or you or anything. I'm like, no. Right. We're on to, do you need to block all garments? And we're kind of saying yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, even like if it's an acrylic, steaming, running a steamer over a little bit or running it through the wash or whatnot, you will like do it one time and then see.
Yeah, make yourself do it.
And then you're all
time. You'll get it.
Kristen saying, what's the best first garment to try?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of different beginner ones. I know you guys do too. I would, as far as like style or the way, I would probably say like maybe a circular yoke, because you're just increasing and then skipping stitches and then working, like something like that where there's no sewing, there's no seaming, there's no maybe a short sleeve kind of thing, or either just panels. Like
I was gonna say it's probably very, very subjective, isn't it? What parts of the process people might struggle with. Like if you're a messy sewer, like you can't attach the panels together, try the kind of seamless top down, the circular yoke. If you do struggle with shaping and you kind of can't increase that well or decrease or do all that shaping, then do the panels and sew them together. So yeah, the first garments could be pretty subjective. Or you could say ponchos. Maybe we could suggest ponchos.
Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah. So it doesn't, the sizing doesn't necessarily matter so much.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of room, isn't it? So if you get it off by a few stitches, it should still be fine.
I think the most important thing is, if you're making it for yourself, it's something that you actually want to wear. So many people message and have said, oh, I tried this from, this, I found this pattern free online or whatever, a download or whatever. And then I didn't really like it, but I thought I'd make it because and they didn't enjoy making it. It's like garments do generally take a decent amount of time to make. They take a decent amount of yarn. So why are you going to put your time and energy and effort into making something you don't actually want to wear? Like make sure it's something that you think, I'm really going to wear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, we have Nessa asking, I've had the issue recently in 2 different cardigans that I've made. They feel like they're falling off my shoulders. Is there a way to fix this?
I would have to see the cardigan, right? That's what it was.
Cardigans. Yeah.
It would depend on how it's made.
Yeah.
I mean, if there are no shoulder seams, maybe add in slip stitches across the shoulder, so this part, because if like I said, don't know how the cardigan's made, but if there are no shoulder seams, you kind of say you work the back and then come over to the front. I would add slip stitches on the shoulders so it kind of holds the fabric a bit better. If the reason is that it's kind of too wide between the front panels, you could increase the neckline round here to pull it back together so you don't have such a big gap. And other than that, I'm out of ideas, girls.
It's hard to know without seeing it.
And I think it depends as well as to whether the underarm, like it might be falling off because the underarm is too either generous or it's pulling up too tight and then pulling the shoulder. Like it depends which aspect of it is causing the problem.
I think, is it too wide on the back?
Yeah.
No,
so it's the body section too, because oversized is in at the moment, isn't it? So a lot of people are designing oversized, and therefore they do kind of slouch off your shoulders, don't they?
Yeah, because when you add the weight of the sleeves as well, that could sometimes pull it off of your shoulders. So Would be good to know which patterns they are. Some we could be advising
It's
better. But
too, though, isn't it? Yeah, or just recheck the sizing. Make sure that you're making the size that will really fit you there.
yeah.
Definitely.
So we've got a couple of minutes left, perhaps, for one more question, and
Sorry.
then we'll have to let the lovely Michelle go.
This is a good tip. When checking gauge, I do it over 2 days rather than in one sitting. It's a better approximation of what real life will be. That's a really good tip.
Good idea.
That's a good idea, yeah.
And we have from Tina saying, how do you know how much the yarn will stretch once the garment is made?
Gauge swatch.
I was about to say, that's
I feel like there's an easy answer there. Yeah.
That's part of that gauge process, putting it through the machine or putting it in, submerging it in water, whatnot. And then also drying it how it needs to be dried, or how the yarn label says to be dried will tell you, because sometimes, like I said, it does shrink back up and it comes back so nicely. So yeah, it depends on that. Your fiber, once you get into garment making, you'll learn. And I mean, it's a process. It is a process. I'm, like I said in my video, I'm always learning. But you'll learn what kind of fibers do, like what they do. And, some stretch out, some don't, some shrink up in the wash, some, whatever. So you'll learn, like, okay, this is a tight, stitch with no holes. I don't want something that's going to stretch. Or this is lacy. I want to block it out. So it's very, open stitching and whatever. So you'll learn the different fibers as well, like what yarns work good. And like I said, you'll get your go-to yarns, and you'll have the ones that you really love and will look good and work good and whatever. So yeah.
Definitely. Oh, and Ness has come back to us on the construction of the cardigan. So this now makes more sense. One cardigan was with the yoke down, but it did not have shoulder seams. So to me, so that naturally will pull down, won't it? And the other one was a cardigan made sideways, and it's a waterfall stitch and was oversized and too big.
Yeah, I was going to say the size.
Yeah. Second, one size fits all. So I think it's
those are easy.
Yeah, with the choice of the project and the site. If it's a one size fits all, no such thing really exists, I don't think.
Yeah, that's a tricky territory, isn't it, for garments? One size fits all.
It may fit all. It might do. It might fit you. It might not. So yeah.
But yeah, with the top-down yoke, I would definitely try and add some strength and structure to your shoulders, even if you go on the wrong side of your cardigan, and just do slip stitches, because obviously don't do them too tight. You have to play by ear. And just give the fabric support without like cinching it together. But those slip stitches will help on your shoulders.
Yeah. Bonnie, sorry, I'm going all over the place with questions now. Bonnie has said, if you have narrow shoulders, do you recommend changing hook size to get a bit better fit in that area?
It depends. I would think, and y'all correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I would think more the construction of the garment would make more of a difference than the hook size. Yes, if you need less room, if you need it a little bit tighter, you can definitely go down a hook size from what you make gauge with a hook size or two to just tighten up the stitches. That will give you like very minimal adjustment. But I would think more so the construction of the garment would probably make a difference. I personally love bottom up. That's my go-to. To me, it's easier to adjust the armholes and stuff like that. And it's, I like bottom up in the round and then going into rows for panels and then seams at the shoulder. That's what I like. That's personally
interesting. It's interesting because I for me, I'd be like top down, because then I'm like, I can make the top fit and then the rest is fine. The rest you do it. So, isn't it funny? So it doesn't matter how you go about it, as long as you know what you're doing when you get there.
And as you try different things, you will see what you like as well. And then you'll see those patterns and you'll be able to look, you'll think, oh, that's so cute. Let me go check it out. And you'll see this is top down, or this is bottom up, or this is side by side. And you'll be like, oh, I hate top down, or whatever. And you'll be like, never mind, or whatever. Like, oh, it's bottom up. Yay, I can do that. Or that's how I like. And it's a lot of practice. It's a lot of practice. You'll find ways that will work, fits that will work, yarns that will work that fit your body really well. So yeah, it just depends. I like top down too. I have no bust either. And so it's sometimes hard for me there. And then also just for me, the designing part. I'm like, oh, the math, the rag.
Well, I'm always like, well, if I get that bit out of the way, then I don't have to think about it.
Yes, super cute.
So it's like,
for me, a bottom up is just easy. So yeah, that's my preference. But I like the seams at the shoulders too. Like I like having that at the shoulder. It just gives a like Veronika said, a little more structure up there. So that will help as well with your shoulders and stuff like that. So
definitely. I just have to show this one. Julia said, I like doing panels because I can make the front in the larger size and the back in the smaller size to accommodate the girls. Yeah, wonderful idea. Yes. So I do think, and Michelle Muscat is speaking with us tomorrow, isn't she, about adjusting for bust and hips and all that kind of stuff. It's an amazing presentation. So please, if you're interested in what this Michelle has said, make sure you come tomorrow to see what the other Michelle is saying to tie in really nicely together. And there are lots of things that you can do, but I think thinking about the construction that you choose is really important, is what's come across in this already, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Practice will help. Lots of practice. Try different things. There's tons of free patterns out there that you can try, and you'll learn which ones work best for your body and which you like the best.
Definitely. Wow, thank you so much, Michelle. Again, second year in a row. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I love it.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. So next we have Christine, don't we, talking about blankets. So we're hopping from garments to blankets. So bring on that worsted weight yarn and above.
Yes.
Now. Whole different ball game. So if everyone wants to go and check in the summit information as to where to find Christine's video, go on over there to watch it. And then as soon as she's finished, we'll be live on our channels again with Christine to chat about blankets.
Yes, come back to find us. So thank you so much, Michelle. It's been amazing to have you back. And